Hello and welcome to round one with Green Red Ponza. We are on the play this match. And this hand is, I would snap ship it on the draw. I kept it on the play. The logic is that I'm going to free roll some wins with Blood Moon. It feels like you can't just ship any hand that isn't turn 2 LD, honestly. I mean, like, if that's the case, then, like, on the draw, like, if your turn 2 LD is, like, all you have to do on the play, then, like, on the draw, your deck's just not good enough to begin with. And also, I liked the Acid Mosses pushing us towards actually casting Platinum Empyrean. So, I felt like this was all around fine. I don't really see an issue with this hand in the slightest. Opponent also kept 7. And just to skip ahead, we're not going to use this fetch. And the reason for that is that I wanted to like slightly increase my odds of drawing a land, but also realistically, I wanted to make my decision about whether I wanted a basic or dual land later. If I draw the basic mountain, I want to get a basic forest. If I like draw, like it's really just that. Like if I draw the basic mountain, I'd want to get a basic forest. I guess if I would draw a stomping ground, I'd also want the basic forest. Whereas if I drew a forest, I want the stomping ground. I just want to push that decision off. I don't need to make it this turn. There's not really a 2-drop. I'm super huge on casting, so. We draw forest, which means that this is going to go get a dual land. And I'll get to that decision in a second. So, we are playing our wooded foothills here, by the way. And the reason for that is if we draw another foothills or another fetch land, we want to use all of those before we resolve Blood Moon. So that we have the actual choice with our lands. Our opponent fetches Breeding Pool, which kind of indicates Infect, and they play a land that we can actually shut off with Moon. So we fetch Stomping Ground just to get a bad land out of our library, and we fetch a Forest. We could have waited on that, actually, because I do want to draw another Forest, actually, but it's super marginal, and we drew it anyways. So this is a pretty straightforward jam the Blood Moon, shut off our opponent's mana. There's no real consideration towards casting a Stone Rain on this battlefield. Especially because our opponent just play land. Like we have to shut them off green mana to win this game. Our opponent has the Forest and has a Blossoming Defenses and a Mutagenic Growth for a 5-power attack, which kind of implies that we're dead next turn, except for the part where we're going to blow up their forest. We get a duel just so we have, we want the second red in case of Inferno Titan, but we also just don't want the tapped lands to draw in our deck. We have enough green for anything we'd want. Opponent plays a janky land, and we play Acid Moss and Arbor Elf. Acid Moss is mostly, this is again us getting a janky land out of our deck. And we're playing this so that we can get to 8 mana next turn and possibly race back with just 8-8. 8-8, no text in this matchup realistically because Infect doesn't change your life total. And we killed the Nexus in case the Blood Moon dies, but it's super marginal. So we break. I'm only going to use one Stone Rain here. I guess there's no need. I didn't necessarily need to use either, but I do want to save at least one in case my opponent draws a basic forest. So we brick on our land again, go to 8, which means that we're going to lose this race, even without our opponent drawing the forest with lethal. We would lose the race to just getting attacked by the 1/1 Bladed Agent. But our opponent draws a forest, they attack in, and we get lethaled. So moving over to sideboarding, the configuration I went with, I took out the Madcaps and the Empyreans. Even though they're threats, I don't really need threats. I need the interaction, and this is just a 4-mana 8/8 with the ability to be jump blocked, which isn't exciting. And I took out Mwanvuli Acid Moss because it's a bit slow, and I brought in the removal spells, all 7 of them. Looking at other decks, I actually normally bring in an Ancient Grudge against that deck, especially if I'm bringing in spot removal like Sudden, well, not Sudden Shock. But if I'm bringing in spot removal, But it just happens that the vast majority of our removal dodges Spellskite. So Sudden Shock dodges Spellskite, Anger dodges Spellskite, Bonfire dodges Spellskite, Stone Rain. We don't actually need to grudge their Nexus. We can actually just Stone Rain it. So realistically, all Spellskite's going to do is stop Dismember and Beast Within. Spellskite also doesn't stop Inferno Titan. Just so you all know the rules on that. If Spellskite is one of the targets of a spell or ability, you cannot change, it's not a spell or ability. If you are dividing damage and Spellskite is one of the targets for the division of damage, you cannot change the other targets of the division of damage to Spellskite because it's already being targeted by the same division. So this comes up with Conflagrate and Electrolyze a lot, and Inferno Titan's the same thing. We're leaving Ooze in just because it's a creature that is fast enough to block a Glistener Elf. Not a lot of complicated things going on here. Okay, so game 2 starts with us on the play. Hand's got multiple removal spells, Stone Rain for Nexus. I can't imagine not keeping this hand. Opponent goes to 6 cards. Pretty clear tap dual land here. They probe the Seer Business, they play Noble. We play a fetch, and we're going to end up, there we go, facing out a Blighted Agent. Also, another reason this hand's good is that Titan's just such a great way to mop up the game. So we get our second red EOT. Life could, in theory, matter, but it's unlikely. We're going to lead on Utopia Sprawl on a Stomping Ground, making green off of it, because then we can diversify red-green on that land a little easier. That just lets us get as much mana as possible on the battlefield. Inger away the threats. And our opponent has double Mutagenic Growth to save their Blighted Agent, which I was okay with at the time. Our opponent pluses puts us to 5. And we play this, for lack of a better term, a safety first Bonfire, where the goal is just get the creature off the battlefield and give them no ability to draw land and kill us with a single pump spell. They have the land, so we were smart. They play another Blighted Agent. And now we're looking at a spot where I shouldn't have fetched it. The slight increase in ability to draw the land for my Inferno Titan is actually pretty big here. But we're in top deck land or probably die. And we don't top deck land. Blow up a land, threatening Inferno Titan in 1, but we die. And overall, I don't like the game 1 positioning of this matchup. It feels like it's easy enough for our opponent to get under our stuff, and we don't have ways to clear their creatures. Postboard, it looks a little better, but I'm not super excited by it either. It does kind of suck that Blood Moon is pretty conditional here. Like, our 2 big easy win buttons are Blood Moon and Empyrean, and neither of them's insane here. Empyrean's actually just not very good. I was boarding it out. And getting to 6 for Inferno Titan's kind of unreliable. Just seeing if there's anything else. I did notice that when I had Blood Moon plus Stone Rain game 1, I was like, oh wow, that's sweet. We get to blow up their 1 basic and super lock them under Moon. So that's something that's actually probably really strong against decks that are a little slower. Yeah. So lost to Infect. Anyone can lose to Infect, but this felt like we were trying to do something and it just didn't quite get there.